My own family lied to me for 10 years. They told me I was broke because I wasn't working hard enough. And I believed them. I was working 3 jobs, drowning in debt just trying to survive. And the entire time, they were living in a mansion, driving new cars, and going on crazy vacations. They told me it was from smart investments. But it was a lie. They were using my money. They stole a massive inheritance from me when I was a kid. And today, I'm showing you how I got every single penny back. This whole crazy story starts when I was 16. My grandmother, who was literally my favorite person in the world, passed away. She was my rock. My parents were always kinda distant. But my grandma, she was everything. At the funeral, my parents pulled me aside and told me, "Don't worry, Grandma left you a small trust fund for college." They said because I was a kid, they had to manage it for me, to keep it safe. I was 16 and my world was falling apart. So I just said okay, I trusted them. I mean, they're my parents, right? What I didn't know is they had just pulled off the ultimate betrayal. That one small conversation was the start of a 10-year lie that would completely destroy my life. I moved out at 18, ready to grind. And for the next decade, that's all I did. I worked nonstop, waitressing, low-paying office jobs, literally anything I could find. I was buried in student loans and credit card debt I used just for groceries. It was brutal. But then my family started getting suspiciously rich. Like really rich. First, they buy this giant new house in a gated community. Then boom, 2 brand new luxury SUVs appear in the driveway. My brother, who was never good at his job, is suddenly whipping around in a sports car. And my parents are posting photos from Paris, Rome, everywhere. And whenever I asked how, they just say, "Oh, we're just disciplined with our money." Disciplined? They would look at me drowning in debt and say, "Maybe you should have picked a better career. Or you just need to budget better." They even said, "You just have to want it more." They made me believe I was a complete failure, all while they were living this insane life. And the craziest part, I was paying for all of it. The 10-year lie came crashing down because of a burst pipe. Seriously, my parents were on another luxury vacation, and I had to go to their house because the basement was flooding. I was moving soggy boxes when one of them completely falls apart. And inside, I see a folder with my grandmother's name on it. My heart started pounding. I opened it, and the first thing I see is her will. I'm scanning through it, and then my brain just stops. It wasn't a small trust fund. It was everything, the house, stock, savings, her entire estate, worth a crazy amount of money, was left to me. But then I saw the next document, a petition filed by my parents, just weeks after the funeral, to dissolve my trust and transfer every single dollar into a new trust that only they controlled. It was all there, in black and white. The cars, the house, the vacations. It all clicked. It was my money. I went from shock to pure rage, but I didn't call them. I took out my phone and photographed every single piece of paper. This wasn't just evidence. This was my plan to take them down. The very next day, I hired the best lawyer I could find. I walked in and showed her the pictures. Her reaction, she said, "They might be going to jail." We didn't sue them right away. First, we sent a letter detailing all the evidence and told them they could either pay me back everything, plus damages, or we were taking them to court for fraud. 2 days later, my mom calls me screaming, "How could you do this to your family?" No apology, zero remorse, just anger that she got caught. So we had one final meeting. I put the evidence on the table and just said, "I know everything." Their excuses were insane. "We were protecting it for you. You would have blown it." I literally said, "So you decided to blow it for me." But the final nail in the coffin was my brother. He looked at me dead serious and said someone had to step up. Blood owes blood, not handouts to a dreamer. A handout, it was my money, that was it. I stood up and said, "This isn't about family. This is about greed. We're done." I walked out, and the next day, we filed the lawsuit. The war had officially begun. The legal battle was insane, but this is where it gets good. The court immediately froze all their assets. Poof, the money was gone. Then, a court-ordered accountant tracked every single dollar they stole. It was all there, the mortgage payments, the car leases, the 5-star hotels. They were caught, faced with 100% undeniable proof. They knew they would get DSCROID in a trial. So they settled, and the settlement was brutal. They had to sell the mansion. They had to sell the luxury cars. They had to sell everything. By the end, I got back every penny of my inheritance, plus interest, plus all my lawyer fees. They were left with absolutely nothing. We took back the entire fake life they built by stealing from me. So I got all the money back. But I 100% lost my family. And honestly, it's a trade I'd make again. There's a crazy piece in my life now without their lies. But the real question is, what would you do? Would you go to war with your own family to get back what's yours? Or would you just let it go? Let me know in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. If you've ever felt betrayed, or you're in your own fight for what's right, I want you to know you are not alone. Thank you for watching my insane story. Your support is incredible.